take a look at this. This is a valley and ridge salamander. In fact, it is a little bit of a cryptic species. Now, you can find these salamanders throughout the Appalachian Highlands, in an area that's considered the ridge and valley. Look at how beautiful this guy is, so long. Now, a lot of salamanders that we're going to look for today are going to be somewhat like this, somewhat cryptic. This guy can easily be confused with a red-backed salamander in like a lead phase. It doesn't have a lot of markings to it. Now, these guys should have less speckling on the belly, a shorter tail than the redback salamanders, and most importantly, they live in a slightly different range and a different habitat. These guys are known to be able to survive in drier climates than that of the redback salamander. But this is an excellent way to start off our adventure in Virginia. We're going to go look for a bunch of really specialized, isolated species today, and hopefully we'll show you a little bit of the special things that you can find here. This is so cool. I need to go put them back and look for the next thing. All right, this is a beautiful example of a redback salamander, eastern redback salamander. Now, this is the one that we could have had that valley and ridge salamander confused with, but it is in its redback phase. And if you look closely, you can see it has a very easy to see red stripe down the back. We'll look for other salamanders. Maybe we'll find a leadback one, maybe we won't, but this is a very young one, definitely born within the last year. Oh, we got another salamander here. What is this guy? Now, these dusky salamanders can always be difficult to tell apart. If you see that light line on the face from the back of the eye to the jaw, that's one of our field marks for the genus of these dusky salamanders. And like I said, they like these wetter areas. So we are right next to a creek, and so it is very moist here. It doesn't have much of a pattern, a little couple spots on the back, and then if we flip it over, if it'll let us, we see a very light belly, not much spots. I'm pretty sure this is a seal salamander. The northern dusky salamanders can look a little similar, but I think that's what this guy is. We've seen a lot of them this weekend if you check some of the other videos from the area, but this is the first one for this video and the first one of the day. Now, one important thing for handling salamanders is that you make sure that your hands are wet before you touch them. And so I always carry around a water bottle with me, but if you're by a creek like this, you can always just put your hands in there to get them nice and wet. And I often like to give them an extra splash of water before I put them back as well. So you won't see that in all of the clips because it's a lot of extra footage, but I just wanted to remind you that that's a really important thing if you go and handle salamanders yourself. Oh, we've got another salamander here. Look at that. Let's put, oh, two salamanders. Nice. All right, let's put that rock back just where we had it. Look at that. All right, well, these two salamanders actually look a little different than the one that we just saw. I can see a little bit more coloring in the back there, and if we're able to show you the belly, he doesn't like being upside down, but he has a little bit more mottling on the belly. I think this is our northern dusky salamander. The other one fell off and already slipped back under his rock. But that is what this is looking like. It doesn't have the same sort of spotted pattern as the last one. It has a much darker coloration to it, and I can see in the tail that sort of typical dusky salamander pattern there. So this is looking like a northern dusky salamander. Oh, all right, another redback salamander. This is another really bright example of one easy to identify with that red back. Let's put him away and see if anybody else is around. Not here. I just flipped this up. Nothing is here, but I have a little head peeking out. And this is another creature I was looking for. Let's take a close look at this salamander that I just flipped up. There we go. This is a slimy salamander. Now, this is another kind of a cryptic species. There is a whole complex of slimy salamanders. They all look exactly like this. Dark in color, sort of like bluish gray with white or beige speckling on the back and on the side. The best way to tell these guys apart is by range. And so that's how I know this is a white spotted slimy salamander. Just purely off of range. Because if I were to go farther into the Blue Ridge Mountains, I'd get to the northern slimy salamander range. Or if I were to go to the coast in Virginia, I'd get the Atlantic coast slimy salamander. So range is our friend to identify these slimy salamanders. Now, they're called slimy salamanders because when you pick them up, they have this slime that makes things very, very sticky. And so my hand will be covered in dirt and I will never be able to get it off. It usually takes like a day. I have dirt on me all day long, even after washing my hands multiple times. So very unique sort of characteristic to these guys, the white spotted slimy salamander. All right, he's already digging his way down. I was just taking some pictures and he just decided to go back under. See you later. Oh, one more redback salamander. These seem to be pretty abundant in this spot. That's the fourth one. And you know what? It's a really small one too. I wonder if we'll have any more under this. It's a little bigger of a log. And, and yes, we did. There is a bigger one. But just one more, number 5. But these guys are really common and widespread. So we're gonna just put the log back and start searching for some new stuff. So it's a little windy, so I hope you can hear me. But while I'm out in Virginia, I'm hoping to find a few endemic salamanders. Now, endemic means that they're only found in one little area. And so for this case, I'm looking for some salamanders that are only found in Virginia. Now, one of those salamanders is called the Peaks of Otter salamander. The Peaks of Otter salamander. And it is only found in the Peaks of Otter and the Apple Mountain slope. Now, one of the interesting things is that they often will outcompete redback salamanders, so that eastern redback salamander that we've been seeing all day. So I knew when I was in that last location, I was not going to find any Peaks of Otter salamanders because there were so many redbacks, which meant I needed to leave and find a new spot to try to find these very isolated salamanders. There it is! Look at that! This is it. This is that Peaks of Otter salamander. Oh, I'm so sorry. I must take a closer look at you. Look at that. This is a beautiful salamander. It has all of this lovely sort of green brass speckling on the side. Much different coloration than the other salamanders we have seen. It is, I mean, I don't think the camera is doing it justice. The color is really pretty, but this is it. This is that endemic salamander to Virginia that we were looking for right here. I mean, it is probably difficult to see, but that even once I gave it an extra splash of water, the colors are really standing out really well. It is a really pretty green brash speckling. This species is not cryptic like some of the other ones that we're seeing. There are not other salamanders in this area that look like this. In fact, you actually have to go all the way over to West Virginia in order to find a similar looking salamander. The Cheat Mountain salamander, that's the one that looks very similar. In fact, when this was originally discovered, it was considered that same species until they did some more analysis of it. I think that was in the 50s when this guy was discovered. This is incredible. Finding these endemic salamanders is really a lot of fun for me. You know, it's always great to get a lifer, especially one that is so pretty and recognizable. You know, a lot of the salamanders that we've looked at today are a little cryptic. They look very similar to other species. You have to make sure you're in the exact right location. as you know, in California, there's a ton of slender salamanders. They all look very, very similar. So it's great to finally get a lifer that looks distinct and really pretty. Look at that. Well, this isn't the last thing we have to find, so we're gonna put them back and go on and try to get some more endemics out here. All right, you go right back where I found you. Bye, fella. Oh, look at that. Let's check this guy out, because I think we've got another species to share with you. Now, this is quite exciting. This is one of those cryptic species I was talking about. We're on the Big Levels Plateau, and this is a Big Levels salamander. They used to be considered part of the redback salamander. So you can see it looks very similar. It even has some of that red on the back. Now, the main differences here are very, very subtle. They have longer legs, and I believe the band is a little bit more subtle. I think it's more narrow as well. But the main thing that we're going for here is location. This is only found in the Big Levels Plateau, so it's a very small range that you can find these guys. Another Virginia endemic. Oh, look at that, look at that. We have a snake. Who would have thought we would get a snake? We were in snow earlier, but this little snake is here just chilling. This is a ringneck snake, very obvious with that ring around the neck there. This is incredible. It is so cold. I think it is still like 45 degrees here. All right, before I put this snake back, I wanted to show you its belly. Look at that. It has such beautiful orange color and a single row of dark spots down the middle. Now, all of the ringneck snakes have that bright orange or red or like pinkish bellies. And then some of them have different spots down the middle. Sometimes they have 2 rows, sometimes no spots at all. So it is cool to see that. And it's starting to rain as well. Well, this snake was super cooperative. We're gonna let him go back under his rock and see if we can find more things. All right, it might be kind of hard to tell. Maybe you can see, but it is actually a little bit of hail. It's definitely ice. I see it sort of bouncing around here a bit. It might not show up in the camera, but that is crazy that we have hail and a snake all in the same moment. That is just so bizarre to me. I hope this guy finds a nice warm place for the evening, but he seemed to be doing just fine under these rocks here. All right, check out this beautiful waterfall in this cave, and in fact, living behind it, we have one more creature. This is a little long-tailed salamander, and in fact, is a brand new genus for the day. This is Eurycea, the brook salamanders. Now, they are pretty dependent on water, not as much as the Desmognathus salamanders, the Dusky salamanders we saw earlier, but you pretty much need to find these guys around water. They do have a larval state where they are in the water. They are aquatic, so definitely dependent on flowing water like this. But this is so cool to see how agile he is. Now, he is up about 6 feet, not quite, almost 6 feet up in the air. Definitely very agile. I mean, look at how much he had to climb up from the ground to get up there inside of this cave. Now, I will point out one field mark, or a couple field marks. So this guy is all yellow. Sometimes they look more orangish. They have all these spots. And if you look at the tail, you can see that those spots kind of are much more elongated. They're more like a herring row pattern. Well, that is one way that we can differentiate these guys from cave salamanders. Now, there are no cave salamanders. I know I'm in a cave, but there are no cave salamanders in this area. So we don't have to worry about it. But if we are in a place where they overlap, looking at those spots on the tail is the main way we differentiate the two. Now, I am getting wet standing in this waterfall, so we need to get out of the cave and find something else. All right, we are now in some new habitat. We're not so much in the mountains anymore, and we're starting to get some more vernal pools. And right here, we have one of our regulars. This is a eastern redback salamander. We've certainly seen a lot today, but they are still around in this new environment. All right, let's put his log back and make sure he knows how to get back underneath. See ya. Oh, look at this guy. Okay, you cannot escape. You cannot escape us. Yes, yes, look at that. Look at it. Oh my goodness. This is so big and red. Oh my God. Whoa, look at that. That is beautiful. And I think I also saw a redback salamander on this end. I think he's moved under a piece of whatever, but yes, look at this. This is beautiful. Whoa, this is a red salamander, pretty obvious from the color. All right, I need to put the log back and get situated. Oh wow, this is absolutely beautiful. This is bright red. These salamanders are highly aquatic. You can often find them just like we did on the edge of the water like that. Oh boy, beautiful. So cool. I have only ever seen these, seen the adults one other time, and I only just saw a juvenile for the second time just the other day. All right, let's put you right back where I found you, in the water. Bye-bye. Just beautiful. So it is pretty cold, and so I guess this guy didn't make it. This is a shrew. It looks like it's got a pretty short tail, inconspicuous eyes, kind of stocky. I think this is the short-tailed shrew, the northern short-tailed shrew, but that's kind of sad to see. All right, this little guy is why looking for some of these salamanders can be quite tough. This is a redback salamander, but he doesn't have that classic red back. In fact, his back is all dark in color. This is the leadback phase of the eastern redback salamander. The way that we go about identifying these little salamanders, especially these eastern redback salamanders, is to look at their belly. The eastern redback salamanders have this very salt and pepper sort of look to it. It's a little difficult to see, especially when they're so small like this, and it's difficult in the lighting, but you might just be able to make it out. And that is how we know that this is an eastern redback salamander and not a similar species. Now, there is a lot of information to remember here. And so what I'd like to share with you is that there is the Schechter Natural History's Guide to Reptile Amphibians for iOS and Android. And if you look right here, we can pull up the eastern redback salamander, and we'll see that we have that redback phase, the leadback phase, and of course we also show the venter when it's important, and you can see the salt and pepper look and feel to it. And that's, if you forget while you're in the field, maybe you don't have cell phone service, this app can help you identify what you're seeing out there, show you all the field marks. All right, I still got the salamander here in the background. You can see him up there. Thanks so much for watching. We really did find a great set of salamanders today, a couple of the Virginia endemics. So that was awesome. If you like this kind of content, please remember to like and subscribe. I'm Greg Schechter. This is Schechter Natural History. That is a long-tailed salamander, and I'll see you in the field.